In every era, there's a scandal that forces the powerful to look in the mirror. In the 2010s, that scandal had a name: Jeffrey Epstein. Who was Jeffrey Epstein? Jeffrey Epstein presented himself as a billionaire financier. He moved easily among presidents, princes, CEOs, scientists, and celebrities. His homes from Manhattan to Palm Beach to a private island in the Caribbean were gathering places for the elite. But behind the velvet ropes and champagne glasses was a darker reality. Young women and underage girls alleged that Epstein sexually abused and trafficked them for years. And he didn't do it alone. Standing at his side was Ghislaine Maxwell, a British socialite accused of recruiting and grooming girls for Epstein's abuse. She would later be convicted for her role. What are the Epstein files? The Epstein files aren't one single folder. They're a sprawling web of court documents, flight logs, depositions, contact books, and investigative records released over time, especially after Epstein's arrest in 2019. These files exposed the so-called black book filled with names of influential figures. Private jet flight logs, sometimes dubbed the Lolita Express. Testimonies from victims describing a systematic pattern of abuse. Allegations involving powerful people across politics, business, and royalty. Among the names that drew scrutiny were Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, Prince Andrew. Not all were accused of crimes. Many denied wrongdoing. Some said their association was casual or brief. But the connections fueled public suspicion. How had Epstein embedded himself so deeply in elite circles? The first deal in 2008. Epstein secured a controversial plea deal in Florida after being charged with soliciting a minor. Instead of federal prosecution, he pleaded guilty to lesser state charges. He served just 13 months in a county jail with work release privileges. The deal, approved by then U.S. Attorney Alexander Acosta, later sparked outrage. Critics called it a miscarriage of justice. Victims said they were never properly informed. The question echoed: why was he treated differently? In July 2019, Epstein was arrested again, this time on federal sex trafficking charges. He was held at the Metropolitan Correctional Center. 1 month later, he was found dead in his cell. The official ruling: suicide. But the circumstances, broken cameras, sleeping guards, high-profile connections ignited a firestorm of conspiracy theories. Across the political spectrum, people wondered, was this negligence or something darker? Epstein's death meant no public trial. No cross-examination. No full reckoning in court. The files became the closest thing the public had to answers. Global shock wave. The fallout crossed oceans. In the United Kingdom, Prince Andrew faced intense scrutiny over his relationship with Epstein. A disastrous televised interview deepened public backlash. He later settled a civil lawsuit and stepped back from royal duties. In the United States, political leaders faced renewed examination of how wealth and influence shape justice. The scandal intensified public distrust in institutions, the justice system, political elites, financial power networks, even philanthropy and academia. Major universities and charities returned donations linked to Epstein. Executives resigned. Reputations crumbled, and survivors long ignored were finally heard. Why did it happen? How does something like this happen? Part of the answer lies in power. Epstein cultivated influence strategically. He donated money. He connected people. He offered access, financial and social. In elite circles, proximity to wealth can blur judgment. There were also systemic failures, prosecutorial discretion that favored negotiation over trial, institutional reluctance to confront the powerful social dynamics that dismissed or silenced young victims. Most importantly, predators often rely on secrecy, intimidation, and disbelief. For years, that system worked. Until it didn't. Maxwell and aftermath. In 2021, Ghislaine Maxwell was convicted of sex trafficking and related charges. In 2022, she was sentenced to 20 years in prison. For some victims, it was a measure of justice. For others, it was incomplete. Many still ask, who else knew? Who else participated? Who else avoided scrutiny? The Epstein files became more than documents. They became symbols. Symbols of the gap between wealth and accountability, the vulnerability of young people in systems of exploitation, the public's hunger for transparency. The scandal reshaped conversations about sex trafficking, consent, institutional protection, and elite privilege. It reminded the world that power can shield wrongdoing, but only for so long. The Epstein files are not just about one man. They are about a system that allowed influence to overshadow justice. And about the survivors whose voices once ignored forced the world to listen.